Welcome. It is Sunday, it is afternoon, and Morgan's got another new laptop because the replacement laptop for the one she hydrated kept rebooting like 3 times in 1 hour, no time to save anything, just in the middle of like typing something on Facebook or whatever. It's just like, and we're going to be rebooting now. No blue screen, no warning, no updates running in the background.
Just
For the
boom, boom.
right? For the first week or two, I was like, oh, it must be doing updates. And then I'm like, this is got a little sketch. And then somebody's like, oh, maybe it's overheating. And I'm like, the fan never kicks in. And then I'm like, the fan never kicks in. So I brought it to Best Buy and it was still under warranty. And they're like, we'll run a diagnostic. And I come back the next day and I'm like, so? And they're like, it's still running the diagnostic, but we're pretty sure it's hardware. And I was like, okay, so new laptop? And they're like, yes, which we don't have in stock. So let's send you to the Leesburg store. Does the Leesburg store? And they're like, hey, wait, now it's sold. They sold it while they were trying to give it to me. So I ended up having to drive to Falls Church or wait a day. And, I had my streams, so I wasn't going to wait a day. So here we are after like 2.5, 3 hours of driving. And I'm not logged back into everything yet, but I'm here. We're having a stream. And I finished my taxes. So,
yay.
Anyway, hi and welcome. With me today, I have the one and only Doc Coleman. Say hello to the nice people.
Hello, nice people. So you had the hydrated laptop, which was replaced by the dehydrated laptop. So this is the dehydrated laptop.
It's something.
It's the replacement laptop.
It's the replacement laptop.
Goodness. All right.
So, anywho, excitement. So much excitement. How was your week?
How was my week? My week was very medical.
Oh dear.
Well, I not this past Friday, but the one before, I went to the doctor, and of course, I had all the blood tests done. So now this week was getting the results, and so for me, the good news is that my PSA tests are in fantastic range, because my family has got a history of prostate cancer, and I would rather avoid that if at all possible.
Yeah, contraindicated.
And statistically, it's not possible, but according to my test, it's not happening yet.
Statistically, it is possible. Over 100%.
No, statistically, it's guaranteed, but
it's over 100%.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't think that's how percents work.
We're talking about likelihood,
Sure.
not a percentage of a thing, but a likelihood of something happening, and you can't have likelihoods that are over 100%, which means it's only a matter of time.
That's not cool.
But the time is not now, and for that I am happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, I found out that I'm too sweet.
Wait, so you're diabetic?
My A1C was really high, and while the doctor did not use the term diabetic, nor did
That's
she.
what too sweet means.
Nor
I know
did
what
she
too sweet means.
correct me when I said, so I'm type 2 diabetic then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But right now the concern is getting me on meds to help bring my A1C down. So we're going to see how that goes.
Sure. I'm sorry. That's frustrating. But
hey, at least it's not like we're going to start you on insulin right away.
Yeah. They don't do that, I don't think, anymore.
You have to be over 10.
So.
Yeah. But
my half sister and my aunt. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My half sister and my aunt are both type 2. So. Definitely something that might be waiting down the line for me.
Well, I mean, that is literally something that can happen to anyone
Yeah.
uh, if if your body doesn't produce insulin or you eat way too much sugar, which I didn't think I was doing, but then again, my mom had type 2 diabetes, so
Yeah. There's also, the whole genetic predisposition thing.
mhm,
So
yep. So
never fun.
although I have further confirmed that I do have a genetic predisposition for absolutely great cholesterol numbers. My total cholesterol was 116.
Oh wow, that's not bad. My numbers are not looking very pretty right now, and I
No.
should do something about that called getting off my butt and like lowering my snack intake. But you know how I prepped for the stream?
By pulling a laptop out of a box and hastily putting it together on your desktop.
I was gonna say 2 mini sleeves of saltines with port wine cheese spread,
Ah, nice.
and it was delicious. And I'm trying to have regrets.
You're trying to have regrets. You're not succeeding, huh?
No, it was delicious. It was amazing.
Yep. I have not figured out what my snacking protocol is going to be for today. Although my wife has brought me some brown sugar bourbon Jack Link's jerky, so that might be part of it.
Ooh, schmancy.
That's
Let's
the fanciest
see.
thing you can get at 7-Eleven, right?
Ah,
I have to say that because it literally has 7-Eleven on the cover.
oh wow, did not realize. So I'm currently downloading Discord and Slack.
Slacker. No.
I mean, what am I going to do? No longer be a part of these communities? Yes, that is an option that I could have chosen,
That's always an option, yeah.
but it's not cool.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But it's also the matter of, well, you don't necessarily have to download them right this moment. But
I'm sorry. Say what now?
you don't have to download them in this moment.
Do I though? I don't know that that's how Morgan really works.
Okay, I can see that.
Either I do the thing or I don't do the thing. Going to do the thing is a good way to forget to do the thing.
I can see how that may be an issue.
Yeah. Okay.
I can also see that an RC Scott has joined us.
Ooh. Oh yeah. The whole stream thing. So, hey RC, what are you working on today? Are you here? Are you chilling? Are you working on stuff? I might work on day job stuff after I finish the book I'm in the middle of, after I finish logging into all the apps. Because
yeah, I think a lot of our regulars were thrown off by the late start today, but
it was only 10 minutes late, people. 10 minutes. And oh my god, my background is way too light. It's like some blue ribbony thing, and I'm like not having it.
And you've got like this real hot spot right at the edge of the
oh, I always do. That's where the lamp is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't affect it too much.
Yeah.
So, oh, hey, people are talking. Let's see. Ron is here. Hello and greetings. RC is out running errands like a responsible person. I feel like I get a pass after driving across like all of Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
All of Northern Virginia.
Well, at least you didn't drive up to Leesburg to find out that they'd sold it just before you left. So.
Yeah. No, we called, got it set aside appropriately.
Yeah.
Got it set aside. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, what do y'all say about a sprint?
I can do a sprint. I've got editing to do. Although I got my groceries put away early.
I mean, it's a day of the week, month, year.
Yeah.
So I would assume that you had edits to do.
Yeah.
Do edits ever
Thanks.
end? Do edits ever end?
Eventually, edits on this story will end, and I will publish the damn thing. But that day is not
If
today.
if you finish edits on one thing, don't you have something else that needs editing?
Actually, I do have a whole nother model, a whole other novel that's waiting for me to finish this so that I can do editing. But
Yeah, yeah. Because life is edits. Edits always. So oh, I got to spill Dink
sometimes
this week,
different.
which is open mic night for authors
Mhm.
in my local community, and it's usually somewhere weird. It used to be on Zoom on second Fridays, but I always go to the fourth Fridays at Girani's, which is a local coffee shop. But it was on third Friday this month because they accidentally double booked.
Oh, so they moved it because Girani's was already booked somebody else as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure we were booked ahead of time, but it was probably easier for us to move.
Yeah.
And we had a decent turnout. So I wrote poetry for it. It was like 8 stanzas, but whatever. It was poetry and it was written and it was depressing as bleep, but you know, that's kind of where I am in my writing journey right now. So
Yeah. One of these days I'm gonna make it down there for one of those, but
yeah, yeah, you could always work from my place that day if you can do a remote day and then you're in town and not having to fight traffic.
yeah. I'm still in transition between supervisors because
Oh yeah.
my previous supervisor went and retired.
Like a
And
jerk.
my new supervisor is uh, uh my new supervisor is on the job. She's doing stuff, but they still haven't done the paperwork to transfer me under her. So
In a
I'm under
weird place
somebody
right
else
now.
temporarily, and it's like it's not worth getting a telework agreement just to lose it in a few days. So
Yeah, yeah. They need to sort their bleep out.
yeah.
Technical term, bleep.
Hmm. Used
So,
in bureaucracy. No.
right. So, yeah. So, what do you say about a sprint? Oh, let's see.
um,
Dwan does not know what he's working on, but he'll figure it out. He does have a foreword to write.
how forward? Uh,
How? Ooh, oh my. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started in a 3, 2, 1. Boom, chakalaka. And we're back. How was your sprint?
My sprint was amusing. I've got a scene in this book where Professor Crackle and Miss Bang's cousin, who looks almost exactly like her, are walking down the street.
You're saying she's a hottie.
Yes, she's another hottie with a slightly darker complexion. They're walking down the street because Miss Bang has injured her ankle, and his lordship is helping out Miss Bang, and he looks up and he sees people coming out of buildings on either side and surround them, and he goes to run to their aid, but Miss Bang grabs his arm and holds him there. And my editor says, "And do what exactly? The professor is invulnerable, Miss B is local, and the narrator is demonstrably not a fighter. Already outnumbered, there is no way he'd be dumb enough to go charging in."
Has she met your main character? Like,
And my comment
he's
was,
not known for his cleverness.
"Don't challenge me on how dumb this guy."
He is known for the unpronounced, well, the name that one does not say in polite society.
But I mean, he's not exactly stupid, but he does do stupid things, as do we all.
Perhaps we should just say impulsive.
Yes, he does have certain impulse control problems.
I mean, I understand impulse control issues.
Mm-hmm. And it almost makes me concerned that I need to do a massive rewrite on the book, because obviously I'm not portraying the characters properly for this editor to understand.
Or maybe the character just didn't properly resonate with the editor.
Yeah. But so I got to that, and that was an amusing section. But
right. So you want to see my impulse control issues?
Show me your impulse control issues. 2024 reading challenge. You've completed your goal by reading 295 of 200 books. And it's April.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to hit 300 this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I should be doing other things and not reading.
You should be writing and editing and things like that.
Or, more day job.
Has the day job been taking a hit because of your reading?
No.
Good answer. Keep with that.
So yeah, it's not been amazing. It's not been amazing. So plus spinning up on a new project with new whatever. Oh, yeah. Anyway, expectations. So anyway, Debbie swung by while we were on break. Or wait, what's the opposite of break? This is break. While we were sprinting. During productivity. Dun dun dun.
While we were artisting. Hello, Fuzz.
So I got to it's Christmas morning, and I'm still in gay romance land. And Bye Boy came out to his dad last night, and they just surprised Bye Boy, who's been out of the closet, at his parents' house at 5 a.m. He's like, I'm supposed to wake everybody up at 5 a.m. I'm the immature one. Wait, whose boyfriend's here? And then the sprint ended. Because he was feeling lonely and sad, and like, maybe I'm not worth him coming out, etc., etc.
Hi. We have a cat attack.
I mean, during the sprint, I did give Catticus his gushy food and finished logging into a couple more things that I hadn't before.
This is good.
So, did a couple things. It wasn't totally.
You're slowly reconstructing your digital life.
I am. I mean, it saved a lot, so I just had to log in and open a couple things and confirm like 20 times, yes, it's me trying to log in.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be basically you're leaving a machine that's got all your stuff on it, and you're jumping onto a machine that's got nothing, and having to
Yeah,
go through all the
yeah.
passwords and the verifications and stuff.
Except I logged into Microsoft, which means Microsoft Edge has like all my passwords saved. And once
Oh,
I logged into Chrome, that had all my passwords saved.
okay.
So it wasn't that bad. Oh, I still need to download Signal because I have one friend that only uses Signal for chatting. Oh, no, worse than only using Signal for chatting. Only uses Signal for chatting when on their iPad, and when not on their iPad, only uses text messenger. So I have to guess where they are and which device they're on when signaling messaging.
Okay, that sounds oddly peculiar. Particular, not peculiar. Well,
Yes.
peculiarly
Yes.
particular, but
I have very particular friends. It's a problem.
they have a particular set of skills. No.
I did hydrate though this sprint. That cup is almost empty.
As long as
And
you hydrate and your laptop doesn't.
right, it's got a lid on it. Some people may have noticed mid sprint, I went for the Chips Ahoy. Thank you. Dwan has friends like that too, who are picky about which device and not sharing across devices and ridiculousness. I think it's a Apple versus Android thing. Like the phone is Android and the iPad is obviously Apple, and they don't want to share devices between the apps between the two different. I don't know. They're particular and annoying in that way.
But if they're using Signal on the iPad and you're responding to them with Signal on your Android device, they're already crossing the streams.
It's their stuff being tracked, not my stuff being tracked that they're worried about. I don't even know what the logic is. I just know it's annoying.
Oh.
And they complain a lot about YouTube ads because they refuse to sign into YouTube with an account. You know what happens when you don't have any account whatsoever? You get more ads, longer ads, and way more random ads.
Mm-hmm. And they create a shadow profile of you anyway based on your IP address and stuff like that. It's like you don't have to become a member of these things for them to track you.
They have satellite, so like it gets the tracking or whatever seems to blow itself away every month or two.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you can just deflect where you are, but not what you're doing.
Yeah. Dwan is reading their friend's poetry. That's awesome. So sounds like a pretty solid sprint. Dwan says, yeah, whoever wants our data already has it. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's out there. Whatever. It is.
The biggest thing you can do is make them work harder for it.
I mean, what with being an identical twin, I'm pretty sure some applications think, I'm duplicating accounts or some nonsense. So, speaking of being a twin,
that means that you and your sister can like share Disney Plus accounts and things like that. No, to Netflix accounts. No.
I need to get the login back from her. But so I signed up for paneling at Worldcon this year, virtually though, because I'm not making it out to Glasgow. I just don't have the vacation time for that. And so I signed up for panels because that had to be done this week. And one of the panels I signed up for, although it didn't specify if it was in person or online, so I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to be on it. But I signed up for a discussion about twins in stories. And, all the way back to, Jekyll and Hyde, and how I get really surprised when I hit a book with twins in it where the sibling relationship strikes true to me.
So people usually get it wrong.
People usually get it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, or they just have very different sibling relationships than I do. You know,
This is
my experience is
definitely
not a
possible.
universal twin experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I mean,
definitely have the twin experience where we have a lot of shared interests and shared friends and we get along, you know. But there's the inherent, you cannot not compare us when we're going through the same life phases at the same time in the same classes and the same teachers, you know. So it
yeah.
is what it is.
And I've known several pairs of twins over my lifetime, and it can be interesting to see, the ones who like really adhere to a joint identity, that they're always in a pair and they're always dressed the same, and the ones that are like absolutely hell bent on establishing their own independent personalities.
Yeah, and there is, something to be said for how much did I do this because she didn't or because she
Hmm.
was, to differentiate.
Yeah.
So, but I just know that like if she dies first and I dress in earth tones instead of jewel tones, I'm gonna look like I know exactly what she looks like at my age, and that's creepy and depressing.
Hmm.
So, anyway, let's go back to sprint topics. Like Duan says, if anyone wants to know that he bought chopsticks, sorry, from Amazon,
Chopsticks.
that's cool. Yeah, yeah. So,
Sorry.
what do you say to another sprint? I could finish up this book and maybe get something started.
Yeah, that is kind of what we're here for. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's go ahead and do it in a 3, 2, 1, boom. Chakalaka. I have a mouthful of chocolate chip cookie. I mean, and that's it for us. How was your sprint?
Yeah, my sprint was pretty good, I guess. I'm still coming across comments from my editor who's like, really?
Hey, remember, you don't have to take all the comments.
Oh, I know, and it's some of them. I always try to look at it as no matter what the person actually says, the fact that they said something probably means that there's an issue that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Sometimes they're like, fix this thing, and you're like, no, but I could have set it up better.
Yeah. But some of the things are like, so this story is the kindred of Kali, and there's this group of women that have these steam powered exoskeletons that they wear, and they appear as avatars of Kali. And the editor's comments
in the book Kindred of Kali? No, say it ain't so.
Shock, disbelief. But the editor's comments are kind of like, oh, obviously this person is appearing amongst a group of her followers, so they must know who she is, so she doesn't need the exoskeleton. She can just come out in her civvies. And it's like, no, what part of secret identity do you not understand? You don't let them. Yeah, you do not let the minions know who you really are.
I mean, minions are like 5 removed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This is playing for the favorable public as opposed to playing for the unfavorable public. But
settings, linked devices, skin.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry.
I
forgot I was in the middle of setting up Signal.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the huge rant about Signal.
Despite the huge rant, yep. There was a squirrel, right? Who completely distracted you?
I mean, the next door neighbor kid ran away, and then we had to go looking for him. And now he's having a heart-to-heart with his parents, but he wanted the neighbors there as emotional support, as he's like, y'all are always working. You don't care if I'm here. I didn't think anybody would notice if I stayed at a diner all night while I'm 17 and still in high school.
No, actually 17, that's pretty normal, but
overnight without telling anyone where you are?
Yeah, I can see how some parents might get
by
upset
yourself
about it.
And not with friends. Sorry,
but some parents would think they're out with friends, they'll be okay. I used to do this when I was a kid, but
yeah. So I lived in Bumfuck. So the closest diner was a 30-minute drive, and like I would stay out late after work when I worked at my first job was at Busch Gardens. So like if I was already out, I would stay out, but I wouldn't go out if I was already home, if that makes sense. So yeah, I definitely, but I was home by 2. Like I came home. My mom's trick was to leave her light on, like she was reading and fell asleep, and we'd come in and turn it off, and after a while she would just go to sleep with the light on, and if she woke up and the light was off, she'd know we were home. And if not, she'd wake up and call us. So yeah. Ron's like, yeah, I can relate with the kid. I'm sorry. So he's having a heart-to-heart with his mom and his dad, who live separately. And dad's like, of course I care. And mom's like, you felt like that. I'm so sorry. So it was a thing.
Was this before or after they yelled at him for not coming home? No.
I mean, he has just been brought home after they found him like hours later.
Right.
Nobody noticed he was missing until morning.
Yeah.
So some parents are better than others.
Yep.
And some parents, are not in a space emotionally that they can be there for their kids, unfortunately.
Yeah, everyone's got their own issues, but some parents also try to give their kids freedom, and the kids don't always see that as my parent trusts me, is giving me a chance to make my own decisions. They just think they don't care what I do.
Yeah. And it's a wiggly place.
Yeah.
Walking that line. And some kids are ready for that at a younger age than others.
Yep.
So
So
Dwan says Dwan was very attached from his family as a teen.
detached.
Yeah, that one, detached. So my general rule was I could go somewhere as long as my sister was with me. So
this sounds like a great way for the two of you to get in lots of trouble.
I mean, it's not like we could go anywhere. And the general rule was call when we get there and call when we leave so mom can worry when we're on the road.
So she doesn't have to worry the whole time, just when you're on the road. Okay.
Exactly. The rule also applied to college.
Okay.
I've arrived at college and she's like, oh, good. Now you're someone else's responsibility. Not really, but okay. And to this day, I'm responsible for calling my mom when I leave my house to go down to her house or to go traveling and to check in. She says I don't have to call her, but I have to message someone, like either her or my sister, just so somebody knows where I am and where I'm going and when I'm expected to be back.
This is the protocol, right?
But I should not be posting online about vacations and stuff. So
because then people will go and break into your house while you're gone. Yeah.
I mean, I have a roommate, and Catticus is known to be violent. But
yes, he
but
is.
when you're going to writing events and people are going there to see you, there's like a weird line there. So.
But so this has been another edition of Two People Without Children Talking on Parenting.
I mean, genetically, I have 2 kids.
Your genetic material has been reproduced twice, but no.
The older one turned 13 yesterday, and the younger one is 3. So, I mean, for those who are confused, identical twins have the same genes, and therefore I have a daughter with my sister's husband and a kid with my sister's ex-husband. So genetically only, please.
Genetically only, yes.
So genetically, my genes have been passed on. Delegated that bleep. We're good.
They have been preserved. Your responsibilities are discharged.
True facts. And because we're both girls and not keeping the last name, it's not like we have a family name to pass on at this point. So yeah. Dwan has chanted Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. We are not, in fact, none of the children are named Jerry. No offense.
At this time.
Yes.
The older child has chosen fresh names for reasons. So
yeah. People get to, use whatever name they want.
Yep.
So as long as it is allowed to be said in polite society.
Yes. It's those names that can't be said in polite society. They get you into all kinds of trouble.
Apparently, Doc's main character in the Perils of Prague series has a name that is entirely made up of curse words, but so dirty that it is never published. So I don't know what they are, and none of the other people do. Doc might know in his head, but he will never share these with us.
It was deliberately crafted over a number of years in order to be as offensive as possible.
So you do know exactly what it is.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. Okay. So, Jerry Springer reference. Okay.
Yes.
So, anyway, we've got just enough time to squeeze in one more sprint. One more sprint.
We do.
Let's do it. It's 2024. Morgan continues to be easily amused. Let's do a 24-minute sprint in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Chakalaka. And we're back.
Yay.
How was your sprint? What did you get done?
Oh, I got further in this scene. Yeah, it's just having a hard time trying to figure out what this editor wants. It's like, okay, you're out in a place. You must describe everyone that's there, and everything that's going around all the time. You know, you can't have people have a small discussion amongst themselves. And
Wait,
it's like,
what? People can't have small discussions amongst themselves?
apparently not. That dialogue must be interrupted by descriptions of everything that has already been described.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You could set everything on fire and then just say the burning embers, and it describes everything. If everything's on fire.
Tempting. So
These writing tips are brought to you by Morgan Hazelwood.
while she was unsupervised. No.
It's true. The roommate's not even home right now. Although Catticus is. You may have noticed there were some omnoms.
Yep.
And I finished the book, which is the last in the series. So maybe I'll get something else done tonight.
If nothing else, I imagine you'll pick out the next book.
Very likely. Very likely. But I was catching up on a little bit of social media and letting people know that I have a new laptop. A new laptop, one might
The
say.
Nunu.
New.
Nunu from Sununu. No.
Oh, goodness. So I think I'm all set back up. I mean, other than my inbox is overflowing, but that's the thing that happens these days that I hate.
Yay.
That I hate. So I'm glad you made some progress. How many pages did you get through today?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh.
I finished one chapter, and let's see, where am I?
Yeah, when I'm editing, I count pages because word count wiggles.
Yeah, well, I do it on the computer, so yeah, I finished one chapter and got about 600 words into the next chapter.
Nice.
So
That's pretty
I don't
solid.
count pages because I'm not one to print things out and
I'm
mark
just
things up.
momentum driven. So
Mhm.
by telling me how many pages I got through, I feel like I'm making progress.
Oh,
Because I usually delete about as much as I add, give or take a page or two.
I have a net gain so far of 143 words this afternoon. So
Very nice. Very nice.
and I've definitely been cutting some stuff, but
Sure. I usually cut internal dialogue, monologue, and add everything else.
yeah.
But I
And
mean,
a lot of times what I'm finding I'm doing is I'm moving stuff from one place to another and rewording it.
yeah,
But
yeah. I have told you on my first manuscript, I went back like 4 years later and I went to add a phrase and I found it 2 paragraphs on, almost identical word for word, in a flow that was a little better than where I was trying to cram it in. And I was like, yes, I have a consistent voice. But also, does this mean I haven't grown as an author?
it means that when something is good, it's good. No.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Yep.
So yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about, remember how I was talking about my space fantasy and about how if I got rid of the fairy tale vibe, like opening paragraph for each chapter, that I'd hate the story myself.
Yep.
I'm thinking of ditching it for querying purposes.
That you're gonna ditch the fairy tale vibe in order to get somebody to buy into the story and then add it back.
I mean, obviously, if the agent hates it or the publisher hates it, it wouldn't go back in. But like, I'm just trying to come to terms with that emotionally.
Okay.
So, but But yeah, maybe I'll leave that one opening sentence though, because I liked it so much. And I
Yeah.
do need to reach out to my dad about why he was saying I had white room syndrome, because I need to know precisely what scene he was talking about because I do not.
Yeah.
Sorry. When you say white room syndrome, you make me feel I feel as if you're saying none of my locations have been described. And in this instance, I feel like it's only certain spots that have not been described. And perhaps if you are more specific, kind of like the time I got told my 3-year-old didn't sound like a 3-year-old,
Hmm.
which was 90% false, but there were like 2 lines in which she didn't.
Yep. And
And
sometimes that can break the whole
which totally true. They needed to be fixed. But when you make general statements in editorial feedback, you make the person feel like it's a general problem. And if they know it's not a general problem, they might dismiss it rather than looking at the specific location or instances where it breaks, the the story.
hmm.
Yeah. So specificity matters when beta reading.
Yeah. And I get the whole thing about, I why are you saying I have white room syndrome when I very clearly described this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now my characters haven't moved anywhere. They're
Yeah.
still doing stuff in the same place, and now you want
Right?
more description.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, if it's description or dialogue without movement, you can be like, they're pacing or they start tapping on something, you can add in some actiony tags, but yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, even if you've got them moving around in the room, interacting with each other, interacting with stuff, that doesn't mean you have to re-describe the room in order for it.
I misread. He said I seemed to be afraid of white room syndrome and
Oh,
veered too much the other direction. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I was trying to make it lyrical and, set the mood.
mhm.
And he thinks I did too much world building in the opening. Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Do you feel better now?
I do feel better. I'm like,
Okay.
where in the first 23 pages is there something I have not described? But I've also, run into issues where people make assumptions based on the genre and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, my first story was a second world fantasy, and people assume, oh, it's a fantasy. It has medieval tech level, and so I had to establish the tech level pretty quickly to avoid people being like, this throws me out of the story, and I'm like, think Studio Ghibli, people.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like
So
my rule of thumb has always been you describe what is interesting or strange. Ordinary things you can quickly gloss over, but
yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
maybe I have too much purple prose in the beginning. I don't know. Because lyrical isn't my default writing style. It was something I was trying because um more descriptive is more fairy tale, So
And it may just be that some of those pieces of description you can just push a little bit farther back. Uh,
sure.
I don't know. I
I don't
haven't
know.
read it.
I don't know. We're on an alien shore and then we go into the, diner her aunt and uncle run. So we describe that and we describe the aliens and I don't know. I don't know.
So,
Thoughts.
Alien Shore, interesting and unusual.
No, not really. It's not
No,
particularly, I mean,
it's not
it is a
particularly
thing.
it interesting and unusual for the character because they've never been there before.
No, they're picking up clams for the restaurant.
Oh, okay. So they've been there for a while. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We're trying to get the feeling trapped on this desolate, rock on an alien planet vibe, feeling abandoned by family, etc., vibe.
So it's less world building and more character building.
Exactly. But I'm character building by describing the world,
And that works. Yeah.
which is the rule. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but like everything in your story should either further the plot, the character, or the setting. And
Mhm.
you want to do at least 2 out of the 3, and the best do all 3.
Yep.
So,
And
if
I keep hearing about Mary Robinette Kowal's mice quotient, with its like Milu, inciting incident, character or environment. I think that's right, something like that. But
sure.
she looks at it as like every scene is like you're playing with the sliders for each of these things.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, I'm glad I reread that because I was like, wait, where is the oh, oh, that's a typo.
What's a typo?
Um,
Should have been an AB positive.
no, it's yeah. Anyway,
Hi.
he's like, should that be broad or board? The word is board like a whiteboard, but I
Yes,
believe it should have been board like "Ugh, I'm stuck in a meeting.
should have been
And
board, and not
he
board or broad.
and my dad seems to think I meant to write the word broad, which is not in fact the case. I don't
Okay.
believe. I need to see the actual line in question.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
typos, shake fist. Anyway, thank you all for coming. It's time for us to peace out, yo.
Yep.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
All right. If you're interested in me or my work, go to your favorite search engine and search for Doc Coleman Steampunk. And that will take you to my website at doccoleman.com. It'll also help you find my Amazon author page where you can see samples of all the stuff that I currently have in print. You can also find me as Doc Coleman on both Twitch and YouTube, where you can watch this stream. Well, you probably won't go there to watch this stream, but you can also watch my Friday night No Man's Sky streams. Well, No Man's Sky for now. It may change to different video games later, but
Okay. And I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood. My blog and my vlog are mostly in reruns, and my podcast, Writing Tips and Writerly Musings, can be found pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts or at morganhazelwood.fireside.fm. I can tell you exactly what it is as soon as I log in and see what I did this week.
what did I do?
So this week's episode was 13 types of responses writers get when querying, where I talk about how rejection is really, really friggin' hard. And while we want to be able to read between the lines, usually we can't, and we need to accept and move on. And tomorrow, I'll be talking about 7 ways that writers handle rejection. Apparently, for some, it's binge reading ridiculous amounts of gay romances. As healthy responses go, it's not the worst. So, it's not the best because, there's other things I should be doing with my life than binge reading gay romances. But it's where I am right now, and we're trying to move past that. But yeah, and you can find all my stuff at morganhazelwood.com or youtube.com/morganhazelwood. I'm Morgan Hazelwood everywhere except Twitter, because I left there and they only ever gave me Morgan Hazelwood in the first place. So bleep
And it's
them.
a dumpster fire.
And it's a dumpster fire. So have a great rest of your week. I plan to be back next week, and see you later. Bye-bye.